It's live now.
We are live. Okay. So hello students. We are live on the OMS Hangout uh, for the compiler class. So we're sorry there was a little bit of a confusion in terms of who should be starting the Hangout. So we got slightly delayed, but we are here now. Sorry about that. One of our TAs is still traveling, so there was a confusion in terms of who should initiate. Um, like to welcome you to the week number 4, I believe, for the compiler theory and practice class. We'll start again with the announcements and then we'll take some questions. Uh, so first, I hope homework 1 is behind us. We are going to grade it and return to you next week sometime. Every homework we'll plan on returning in about 10 days to maximum 2 weeks period. That will be our goal. There might be slight delays sometimes, but shouldn't be more than that. Second thing is, I hope everybody is part of team now and has started working on the project. We have posted the project announcement, which has 2 phases, as I was, as I have been announcing. The phase 1 is which is about the front end, and we are going to develop there the scanner, the parser, the semantic analyzer, and the IR code generator. So till IR, it's typically the front end, which is what we are going to do in this part 1 or phase 1. And we expect you to work in teams of 3, and I hope all of you have arranged yourself in teams. That is the first most important part. If you haven't, or if you're facing any issues there, then please post it on Piazza and take help from the TAs. You can even email the TAs and get their help to set you up in a team. But we don't want to delay any of these because there is no room for us to delay the phase 2. That will be given right away, in fact, a couple of days in advance, where we will get going with the backend, and we'll complete it in terms of code generation, and we'll do some interesting optimizations and so on that time. So with all that work ahead of us, it's important to get into phase 1 and finish it properly on time. And it will take some time to familiarize yourself with the Antler versions. And I'm going to ask the TAs to talk a little bit about it at some point. But you can go ahead and download and go through the documentation, install it, look at certain examples. It's a very nice system, which has a lot of documentation, examples, a lot of help as well. And that will help you to generate the LL1 parser. You have to rewrite the grammar for that. And the scanner should be fairly straightforward. So parser and scanner we will generate. That will generate the parse trees or the ASTs, and then we have given you details on how to traverse them and to do the type checking, to do the symbol table, all these kinds of things. And from there, you'll have to walk them again and convert them into the intermediate representation that we have given you the format. So all these activities are a part of phase 1 of the project. And so please go ahead and get started without waiting for anything or without any delays. You can set up your repositories and other things. Make sure you do not give them public access so that others can copy or see your code. Please make sure that you take that precaution. Keep it private to your group, and make sure you do not make it visible outside, because any kind of copying of code, of course, is taken extremely seriously at Georgia Tech. We run a lot of tools, and if we detect any kind of copy, the rule says, the honors course says that we have to hold both parties responsible, the one who have allowed themselves to be copied or has given the code, and the other one who has received the code. So both are equally responsible, and so we have to make sure that we do not allow any of these kinds of things on both ends. We do not copy, and we do not allow ourselves to be copied as well. I would really like to emphasize this because in past, not in our class, fortunately, but in other classes, there have been unfortunate incidences of code copying, and Georgia Tech has taken a very serious view, and in fact has um, those students have received extreme penalties, including leaving the program. So let's not get ourselves in any of these situations. It's very unpleasant, and it can be very serious. I just want to emphasize that. Um, and we will be chugging along. I hope you are pacing properly and going through the pacing schedule. I think right now you should be doing parsing and um, almost done some LL1 related parsing, or you should be starting that and completing the parsing part of the class. And from there, so that will allow you to do all this, will allow you to now do factoring of your grammar, operator precedences, all kinds of different things to make it unambiguous. And we have given you a very detailed document which spells out the language's characteristics. Please go through it. Make sure you start with what we have on slides and other things, and work your way through, make the grammar unambiguous, and then rearrange it, refactor it to make sure it is LL1 by doing some changes to it, and get that part going. Forthcoming things, you will be doing some semantic analysis in attribute grammars. Once you have built the parse trees and symbol table, you will be able to do a lot of tree walking and do the type compatibility checks and other stuff, which is covered in a conceptual manner in the attribute grammar section. At any point, if you have any questions about any of the material, then please do indicate it on Piazza or come live on the Hangout, and we'll address it live here. And do pace both the book. Again, I want to repeat that, both the book as well as the videos, lecture videos and slides. We'll paste both of them together. And we don't have any homework to be assigned for a little bit of a time, but we will be going ahead and assigning the next one very soon. So that's basically what I have. And as per the pacing schedule, we'll be assigning that. And now I'm going to hand off to Chao to see if he has anything to add in terms of the project and the tools and Antler and so on. And we will then take some questions. Chao. Chao, are you there?
Yes.
So go ahead and about the project and Antler and other things. If you have anything to announce, go ahead, please.
I think there is no problem with project yet. I hope everybody should have been already set up the environment correctly, and you can get the virtual machine from the GitHub, Georgia Tech GitHub, which is provided by NAM. And some of you could have some problems because of like older versions of background. So you need to upgrade the background to the newest versions to avoid, so you can access the image. I think that is the only problem I encountered for setting up the environment. That is it.
Sure. Thanks, Chao. Yeah, make sure you use the latest version and get your Vagrant and other things, set up properly, because we want you to work in that environment, because that is the only way we can check whether your compiler is compiling, is giving some kind of errors, what kind of, we are going to go through your code, not just run test cases, because this is a fairly large project, and there is a large amount of grade associated with it. So we'll be evaluating it very thoroughly. So that is why we want you to provide us everything, source code. And so that is why I work in this virtual machine environment, and use new version, use the one which the TAs are giving you links to, and so on. And um, Chow, in the project release, we talked about uh, Antler version 4. Do you have any specific version there, or should we just stick to? Did you post anything about that?
Actually, just the version 4.1 something, I remember.
Okay. Can you quickly clarify that on the Piazza post, because they might wait for that. So 4.1 is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that way we have uniformity across the. I'm sure it will work with other versions as well, but I think it's best to have one across the board so that we have somebody runs into any problem, others can help, and so on. Okay. Any other thing that you want to add, Chow, or we're good for now?
No, we're good now.
Okay. Let's see if you have any questions. We should visit any kind of concepts that some people are not clear about, some questions that were asked. We still need to visit those. Or anybody on the Hangout Live has anything to ask, we're now open for questions.
No questions on Piazza, so hopefully they will join us.
All right. Are there any questions from those who are online here? Again, as you know, there's a huge storm going on in North Carolina and South Carolina. If you're affected by it, we are sorry. We don't have any homework pending, anything like that at this particular point. So we don't have to worry about changing deadlines or anything. But stay safe. That's our message. And whenever you have a chance, connect back with your team and work on the project. All right, Chong, I'm going to mute since there are no questions so far, and wait for anything to show up, and then I'll be available whenever there's a question. If you can just type it out here.
Yeah, okay. So waiting for you. Hey, Nan. Oh, I see.
All right. Looks like we are at the end of the hour. And since there are no questions, I guess I'm assuming everything is going well. Again, please make sure you are in a team, install the Vagrant, and get going with the project because we have a pretty tight schedule here, and get help of whatever kind you need on Piazza. And good luck to everybody. And we'll see you next week. And we will be returning the homework, as I said, sometime later in the next week. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you next week.